mania. One of Dr. Williams' main treatments revolved around diet, as Brenda Sampson outlined earlier. He advocated largely uncooked diets and had no time for processed foods. Raw cow's milk featured prominently as he believed that milk was ruined by pasteurization and other treatments. His stomach ulcer patients were put on raw milk for up to 3 months. With regard to raw milk, don't forget to check out my article and video if you haven't seen that already. A typical dietary prescription for his patients was as follows. Breakfast: 2 grated apples, a level tablespoon each of honey and raw oatmeal, juice of half an orange, 3 tablespoons of cream-rich milk, and a handful of raisins or nuts. Lunch: wholemeal bread, butter, honey, salad vegetables, a hard-boiled egg, cheese, and walnuts. On cold days, this was substituted with a homemade soup. Mid-afternoon: carrot juice, sipped. Evening meal: meat or fish with plenty of steamed vegetables. Dessert: stewed fruit or ripe fresh fruit, alternatively a baked custard or a steamed pudding. For many conditions, Dr. Williams would advise that the only cure would be through fasting. He would say, man is the only animal that hasn't got enough sense to stop eating when he is sick. His advice to patients was that they could take plenty of water, citrus juices, and vitamin C, and sometimes raw milk and apples depending on the ailment. The period of time required for this type of fast could range from 7 days to a few months. Dr. Williams' manner could take some of his new patients by surprise. One such patient, a Colonel Harry Coffin from Sydney, Australia, described the state he was in before consulting Dr. Williams. The Colonel had chronic eczema of both legs and had been under leading dermatologists for 2 years without improvement. He only had one interview with Dr. Williams, who took him to task right away. He recounted, quote, "As a Christian, I should be ashamed to be in the condition that I was in, which he said was due to me breaking the law of God. He said that if the poisons in my body had not broken out through the skin, I could well have been crippled up with arthritis. I should be thanking God rather than being sorry for myself." He was prescribed an eliminative diet, exercise, a daily enema, and no more drugs or lotions. Within 6 weeks, the eczema was completely cured. The Colonel wrote to Dr. Williams for his account, but the response was simply to thank God, and that payment would be by serving others with his recovered health. This was typical of Dr. Williams, who rarely billed his patients and simply requested that they follow the law of God.